And welcome back, this is BallerScuba with more Let's Play Pokemon LeafGreen. I am joined as always by Dumpus and his Pokemon squad of Popeye, Sandra, Fistimich, Mr. Jensu, Nibbler, and Lord Yon. When we last left off, we were climbing up Mount Ember, and we made it to a cave. This is the only way up to the top, so let's head in and see what we can find along the way. We do find ourselves in a very narrow pathway here. For the time being, I'm going to ignore smashing all these rocks. They don't do anything except possibly get you into a battle with a Geodude. So for the time being, I will avoid them. Speaking of Geodudes, the Pokemon that are available here are Machop and Geodude. 50-50 shot in this room. It will change when we get to the next room though. Actually, I apologize. It was 50-50 in the last room. In this room, it is 40% Machop, 40% Geodude, 20% Machoke, and there's actually a 5% chance if you break one of these rocks that you'll encounter a Graveler instead of a regular Geodude. So if you are looking for whatever reason to not level up a Geodude, you can kind of skip it here. Back to 50-50, and outside we go. To the top of Mount Ember. You can head down here, it's a quick way out, but for the time being, we are ready to move on. We'll head to the left first, where there is not a puzzle. And over here we can find a Firestone, good for evolving some fire types. And over here we can find an Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball would be useful if I still felt like I needed to catch a few Pokemon, but it seems like I'll be fine with what I have. Alright, I will use Strength. Fistimich is ever so useful. Push that all the way out of our way. Oh, I already kind of messed this up a little bit, but it'll be fine. I just need to go back. Alright, smash that rock. Nibbler, not quite as useful. Also, Geodudes. Oh, hey, it is a Graveler. Level 33. Still considering this all the same area, though. I think this is the first time that we have seen a Graveler in battle. Plus, Popeye's about to get an important level, so we'll go ahead and surf the Graveler away on screen, because it is not going to be difficult for me to take that out. And at level 46, Popeye gets a decent level. Decent. Could be better. Special defense would have been nice. And this is why it's important. It's Hydro Pump. I don't think we have seen Hydro Pump before, so we'll take a look. It's not my favorite because, once again, it's a high power, relatively low accuracy move. 120-80 is not my favorite. A high volume of water is blasted at the foe under great pressure. I'm actually going to just skip out on this. I know a lot of people swear by Hydro Pump, but for me, Surf is where it's at. It'll always land. Hydro Pump misses way too often for my liking. And I'm getting way too much luck when it comes to Pokeball throwing to trust luck on accuracies. So I'm going to leave that alone. Alright, we need to backtrack a little bit so I can destroy this rock. Otherwise, we will not be able to solve the puzzle. Go, Nibbler! Smash that rock somehow. Has nothing to do with level, has nothing to do with size either. Alright. Then it's just a pretty simple way to get up top from there, and we can find another Firestone there. Alright, now we are free to head back and up to the summit. Now here we get a little bit more in-depth of a puzzle, but it's essentially the same thing. You have to push this one up so that you have access to the left one. And then you can push this one left, get up here, push this one left, and then this one up and over, and that's the puzzle. Oh, and there is a bird up here as well. It's legendary. So let's take it on! It's legendary boss time. We are up against Moltres. Number 3 in the legendary bird series. And we have Popeye out front. Surf probably not going to finish off Moltres, but since it went for Endure first, I think we'll be fine. I didn't realize that Moltres was going to be faster than my Popeye. Popeye, speed the hell up. Alright, super effective. We'll go for Surf. There we go. Now I am faster. And it's super effective. And down goes the Moltres. He does have an attack move, I swear. He just didn't use it, and, well, down he goes. Not too difficult, Popeye. You are doing well. That was a good practice run, Popeye, and you excelled at it. So, I have killed all 3 birds. I have never done that before. And away goes the last one. I've never killed all 3 birds. That's new to me. But with that done, we're done here in the islands, so I'm going to head back to the mainland. I do believe that we have a Pokemon to go over, and I think I might have hit a magical number of Pokemon as well. Back on the mainland, we do have a new Pokemon to look at, so let's take a look at Griff. Griff is our pretty pony Pokemon. Brave in nature, that increases attack at the expense of speed, therefore it is not my favorite to have. I like fast Pokemon in this game most of the time. Almost all the time I like fast Pokemon. Griff does actually have a higher attack than special attack normally, so this does actually help with the attack if you're not using fire moves. The ability that Griff has is Run Away, makes escaping easier, and by easier they mean it's guaranteed. If you want to run from a wild Pokemon and you have Griff out front, Griff will run away every damn time. Not the best ability. I believe that Ponyta does have a second ability in these games that I could have gotten, which makes Griff immune to fire, and then if it's hit by fire, it'll power up all fire moves by 1.5 times. So I would have preferred that one if I was going to be using Griff, but Run Away is what I have. Stats, as you can see, not the best, even for a level 30 Pokemon. They are kind of low. It could be lower. I mean, they're not bad. The attack and speed are actually pretty good. Special defense as well, not too shabby. Regular defense, though, kind of bad. So what kind of moves does Griff have to take advantage of that physical attack? Oh, HP's kind of low, too. Not much. Not much. We have Tail Whip. We have seen that before. It wags its tail ever so cutely. I would love to see that, actually, making the foe lower its defense stat. We've got Ember. We have had that used against us many times. It's only an attack power of 40 on that. The foe is attacked with small flames. The foe may suffer a burn. Then we have Stomp, which is probably more suited to Griff's style. 65 power on that. The foe is stomped with a big foot, even though it's a small hoof. It may make the foe flinch, which is always good when that happens. Then we have Fire Spin, also not my favorite. The foe is trapped in an intense spiral of fire that rages for 2 to 5 turns with a power of 15, and it doesn't even land all the time. I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan. So that is Griff. Griff is going to go back into the box. Don't really see a use for fire where we're going. I do believe that at this point I have caught over 30 Pokemon, which I really did not foresee when we started this, but it happened nonetheless. So we are back to Oak's Aid on the eastern side of Route 11. And this guy should give us something good for our trouble. It's the item finder. I should have, yes. Oh, I actually have 33. Fantastic. A little bit more than I thought, but I have gotten the item finder. There are items on the ground that may be hidden from view. Use the item finder to detect any hidden items close to you. The machine is a bit limited. It can't pinpoint item locations. What it does is show the direction where the item is. Use it to get your bearings, then search the suspect area by hand. There are a few places that I felt like I needed the item finder, even though everybody tells me I didn't. So I'm going to go back to those areas, and I'm going to find me some hidden items. The first one, I don't think I actually showed that you could get something there. I'll meet you there, though. Our first stop is the Viridian City Gym. Now here is where we defeated Giovanni and got ourselves the Earth Badge. Now this is an item that definitely is not attainable until you get the item finder. And I can easily show that, because there's where the item is, right here. You need to be standing exactly here. If you use the item finder while standing here, it'll say there's nothing. But if you stand exactly here and you use the item finder, which is way the hell down here, suddenly it finds something. Oh, the item finder's shaking wildly. There's an item buried underfoot. And we have received the Macho Brace. So we're gonna put that in the items pocket. What was so good that it needed to be buried under essentially one of the final bosses of the game? You know, the 8th badge? What is so good that it had to be hidden there? It's a hold item, the Macho Brace. It's an item to be held by a Pokemon. It promotes strong growth but lowers speed while it is held. Yeah, it will half your speed, actually. Lowering your speed is not quite strong enough. It will half your speed. So why would you have this given to your Pokemon? What does promote strong growth mean? It means that it will double your effort value yield. Now let me make sure I have all the information that I have before I go over effort value yield. I don't want to get this wrong. Alright, let's talk about EVs. It has been long overdue. I will say up front that if you are just trying to play this single player, you don't need to pay too much attention to this. Just know that if you catch a Pokemon at a lower level and level it up from that lower level, it will most likely be more powerful than a Pokemon that you caught at a higher level and leveled up from there, if it's the same Pokemon. Just as a general rule, that will be more than enough to get you through single player. However, if you are trying to focus on multiplayer, you really need to know a lot about EVs, also known as effort values. They're not my favorite thing to go over. It's really complicated, and I will be honest that I don't know everything that there is to know about it. And it has changed from when I first heard about it. I beat the game probably about 10 times before I even heard the term EVs. It's not necessary for single player, like I said, but for multiplayer, if you're trying to build a perfect team, you need to know a lot about EVs. Okay, so in Generation 1, if you're playing the original version of the game, I believe that it's essentially the same in Generation 2, but for Generation 1, Red, Blue, and Yellow, the way that it works is every time you kill a Pokemon, you get their base stats given to you in effort value points. The way that, let's say you killed a Mew. Mew is kind of the standard because Mew, even though you can't really fight a Mew unless you Game Shark it in, fighting Mew will get you 100 effort points to each of your stats. So if you're trying to level up a Pokemon in Generation 1, there's no reason to try to avoid certain stat gains. Killing 656 Mew will max out your EVs, which if you're trying to do a multiplayer match in Generation 1, you're definitely going to want to do. Max out those EVs, get 65,535 effort value points. That's going to take you a long time, and you need to do that for each stat, which is why most people go by the Mew standard, because it gives you 100 effort points to each stat, so just 656 Mew. If you're wondering about that number, 65,535, that's 256 squared minus 1, if that makes sense. But that has changed since then. In Generation 3, they revamped the effort value system completely. And now you actually have to avoid certain stat gains. For instance, let's say I'm leveling up, I don't know, Lord Yon. We'll put my Doduo on the block here. As I'm leveling up Lord Yon, I want to get him more attack and more speed. That's me personally. I want him to have a high attack and a high speed, and that is it. However, Lord Yon is going to be difficult to level up that way because Lord Yon is typically strong against Pokemon that don't give him the right effort value yield. Each Pokemon in this game will give you an effort value yield. I'm going to go off of what Bulbapedia has on right now. They say it's just for the current gen, so the effort values might be a little off, but I think you'll get the gist of what I'm trying to say. Let's say I send Lordyon out there, and Lordyon kills a Bulbasaur. By killing that Bulbasaur, Lordyon will get 1 special attack EV point. If Lordyon gets 4 EV points, that will translate to 1 stat point. So, if I kill 4 Bulbasaurs, that will get Lordyon 1 special attack EV point. Well, sorry, 1 special attack stat point due to the 4 EV points on his next level up. As a result, I have essentially taken away Lordyon's ability to max out the EV points in attack and speed. Because you can only get 510 stat points from the EVs per Pokemon. So if I was to get 1 special attack stat point from the EV kills that I got, then I have taken away 1 point that is available to Lordyon from attack and speed. As a result, if I want to build the, quote-unquote perfect Pokemon team, I have to be very, very careful about how I level up my Pokemon. This goes from Generation 3 on, as far as I can tell. So if I want to level them up perfectly, I have to only put them in when they will be killing something that gives them the right EV yield. It requires a lot of knowledge, probably having the list up right in front of you just to make sure that you got it right. I will say that if you get your Pokemon up to the highest level, up until Generation 6, I believe this trick works. You got them up to level 100, but they didn't max out their EV yet. You can put them in the PC and then take them out, and it'll recalculate their stats every time that happens. So that's one way to deal with it, but once again, you have to be very careful about who you use for each Pokemon that you're trying to kill. So for instance, who I should be sending out for a Bulbasaur would be more of a fire attacker or a psychic attacker, because that would get them the point yields that would be better for them. Like I said, you can go the entire game in both versions of these games, never knowing anything about EVs, and you will be fine. Once again, just know that if you level up a Pokemon by killing other Pokemon, it'll be stronger than if you just level it up with rare candies or you got it at the higher level. It's a very smart system to get trained Pokemon to be a more powerful Pokemon than the wild Pokemon that would be their exact counterpart. But it can be painstakingly precise sometimes, and it can be annoying if you're trying to get perfection. I would recommend, if you're trying to do a multiplayer team, number one, find a better resource than me. I don't know that much about multiplayer to be able to tell you all the ins and outs of it, but number two, I would recommend, just from an outsider looking in, that you beat the games first, and then you go back and find the Pokemon that you want to level up. Because having them from the beginning of the game will most likely be putting them at risk, because you will be putting them out there against Pokemon that doesn't give them the EV yields that you want for that particular Pokemon. Alright, that is enough about EVs. I will move on and I will go get more items that I missed out on because I didn't have the item finder, and then we will be on our way, hopefully, to the Elite Four.